Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is your pilot speaking. And today we're going to watch another Kurzgesagt video. This one is going to be about pregnancy. Now, contrary to what you may think, I've never been pregnant before. So I don't know a lot of what's probably going to be talked about here. So let's get into it and learn about it.
Pregnancy is a hardcore sci-fi epic of war, peace, and compromise. Babies are basically very cute tumors that grow a
I've heard
completely
this.
new organ inside a different human. Their mum's body graciously allows this, while the new life saps her resources and challenges her immune system to its limits for months. Biology is brutal and beautiful and metal. Let's zoom in and observe this brutal struggle for survival that in the best case ends in one of the most magical things, a new life.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things we all learn is that it's not a comfortable process for the mother, especially. So yeah, let's continue. See what's going on. Why does the baby made out of stars? I don't know. I guess we all are in a way.
Our story begins with an army of tens of millions of sperm cells that immediately face death. They're
Hmm.
on a tight timer before they run out of energy and die. But this is the least of their problems right now. Like all bodily openings, the female reproductive tract is a fortress defending against invaders. The future mum's body has set up deadly barriers and puts the sperm through a brutal process that kills almost all of them and ideally selects the strongest and fittest one. The
Hmm. Yeah, that's I'm not really sure I should pause on that part of the body there, but you know what? It's cartoon. It should be fine. Um, yeah, it's pretty interesting how the body, even though like this is part of the reason that we live is to continue the species. It's like, yeah, we're gonna kill 99.99% of everything that gets in. And yep, just seems like hell.
first deadly obstacle is a highly acidic environment guarded by hundreds of thousands of guard cells. The acidity kills millions, especially of the weaker sperm within the first half hour, although they have a bit of protection. Seminal fluid is alkaline, so it makes this first obstacle a little less
Trying to get
deadly.
myself out of
The
the way of
survivors reach the next obstacle,
captions.
a treacherous maze full of protein nets where millions more find a brutal end, getting stuck and lost. Now, if a woman is in the part of her menstrual cycle where she's ovulating, her body helps the sperm out a bit by releasing chemicals that guide the way and by being a bit less hostile. Luckily for our brave sperm, this is the case today.
Yeah, that's basically like, we're gonna stop bombarding you completely today, only a little bit.
Only a couple of hundred, less than 0.0001% of the
Ooh,
original
I
sperm
was
pass through
underestimating.
into the uterine cavity where two tunnels branch out. Here, mucus helps transport the stronger sperm to move on while weeding out the weaker ones. The mum's immune cells pick off and devour every cell that trails behind or takes the wrong turn. And then, finally, maybe just a few dozen sperm reach their goal, the mighty giant egg. 10,000 times bigger than them, it's an industrial-scale monster loaded with nutrients and nearly 100,000 mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell, 50 times more than an average cell.
Isn't the egg also like almost visible to the naked eye? Something like that? I've heard something like some fact regarding that.
But the egg is not easily conquered. The survivors get closer and try to get in until the egg decides to accept a single one of them. The
Not
genes
just the
of two
first one?
individuals merge. The egg stops being part of its mother. It's something else now. A new being with its own agenda. Not a human yet, but the potential to become one, like a thought that's not yet a word. But
I
its
have
mum's
those
body
a
hasn't
lot.
decided yet if she wants to say it out loud. It will have to fight for that. For a few days, it rapidly divides and grows to a couple of hundred cells while traveling down to the uterus, the part of the female reproductive system where it will try to make its new home. Here, it begins to divide into two specialized teams of cells. One will eventually become the baby. The other cells are trophoblasts, and their job is to turn into a temporary organ inside the mother, the placenta, that will make pregnancy possible and eventually die. This means
Rip.
that when you were an embryo, there was this whole other part of you, not like a twin, even closer, maybe like a guardian angel clone. These cells never had the chance to become a human. Their only purpose in life was to make you exist.
Pretty interesting to think about. Like, yeah, I guess the placenta is genetically equal to you, but destined to die. Huh.
In any case, the following days are the most dangerous for the potential new life. Like a tennis ball rolling through syrup, the
Ew.
young embryo moves along the uterus and tries to take a hold. An intense chemical dialogue between two living things begins. The embryo releases dozens of chemicals that announce its presence and asks the guard cells of the uterine wall to allow it to please, please, please attach itself so it can survive. The uterus
Literally begging
responds
on my
with dozens of
knees.
hormones and immune signals itself. If it's satisfied with the quality of the chemical conversation, its cells allow it. If it doesn't, the embryo will be lost and die. This is where we begin to see the interests of both living beings no longer completely align anymore. Pregnancy is a huge energy investment, so the mother's body will eject the embryo if it doesn't see it as viable.
Hmm.
The embryo, on the other hand, faces a life and death situation and tries to stay alive at any price. So it's not asking politely, but deploying thousands of infiltration units, bubbles filled with genetic material, kind of like a human virus.
It's like the Trojan horse, which is funny considering Trojan.
They sort of invade the uterine cells and try to brainwash them, so they help it attach itself rather than rejecting it. During this time, one of the weirdest features of pregnancy occurs. The uterus provides uterine milk, not real milk, but a clear fluid filled with nutrients and hormones that the young embryo sucks up hungrily to gain additional energy until it gets inside. If the embryo is allowed in, the implantation was successful, the first critical hurdle.
Yippee.
The next step is to reach the blood vessels of its mother, the only way to survive if it doesn't want to starve. The trophoblasts begin to
Okay, the term spiral arteries,
mother, the only way to
yeah, right there, kind of creeps me out. I don't know what about it. It's like, why do they why do they look like that? Why do they need to look like that? And then they just sort of end there. Yeah.
survive if it doesn't want to starve. The trophoblasts begin to clone themselves on a massive scale and turn into different specialists. One of them turns into a violent invader that starts drilling into the uterine tissue like a tiny parasitic octopus with many arms, spreading and growing. This is a brutal process, ordering loads of its mum's uterus cells to destroy themselves, killing others directly, or even devouring some cells whole.
Why do they look like Amogus?
While this sounds brutal, and it is, this process is highly regulated and doesn't hurt the mum. It's another test. The mum's body monitors carefully how the embryo is doing. Is it growing quickly, or is it more chill? If an embryo has genetic damage or chromosomal abnormalities, it will spend way more energy on repairing itself and maybe grow more erratically. This makes it metabolically noisy, releasing loads of chemicals the mum's immune cells pick up, which provokes them and makes it more likely that they'll destroy it. On the other hand, if the embryo is weak, it's metabolically too quiet and the mum will stop talking to it, which also ends the pregnancy.
Hmm.
This embryo is just right, so the mum's cells release a flood of different chemicals to help it out, support it growing, and most importantly, activate her immune system. Usually this would be very bad. The immune system kills everything that's not part of the mum's body, and this embryo is clearly not part of her. But the immune cells of the uterus surround the embryo and start helping it, guiding the trophoblast to grow further. They create a physical and chemical safe zone that tells dangerous immune cells like T cells to stay away. The embryo has its own motives and doesn't want to rely on its mother's goodwill alone, so defensive trophoblasts send out signals that kill her immune cells if they get too close and could start attacking it.
That's a lot to take in there. It's just a war zone, but it's like I don't even know. I don't know. I don't have to go through it.
Hundreds of cells go even further and leave the embryo behind. They spread all across the mum's body, entering organs, even the brain. We don't know what all of these cells are doing, but we think that they're probably telling her immune system that the embryo is not to be attacked, that it should be left alone or even protected.
I mean, that makes sense. Like kind of how a vaccine you put in dead cell or dead viruses to tell your immune system, oh, this is how you should attack. This is the opposite. It puts out living, I guess, centuries kind of, and says, no, no, we're good. We're good. Please don't hurt me or anything that looks like me.
These cells may stay inside the mother for years or even decades. It's likely that parts of you are still in your mother. Around
Don't
8
say
weeks
that.
after the egg was fertilized, the transition from the embryo to fetus begins. The size of an olive, its organs begin to form, and it turns from a blob into something vaguely human-like. Is there a clear point where a clump of cells becomes a human? Not really. It's a fluid transition, and every society and person, be it morally or legally, marks this moment differently. Meanwhile, construction trophoblasts are busy building a spongy finger-like structure that expands further into the uterus, a completely new organ. The placenta, an organ that you once grew inside your mother, that was ejected after your birth and died a silent death while everybody was busy welcoming you into the world.
Rip.
In our story, the placenta is now the new home of the fetus, an enormous fortress protecting it from microbes that could infect and kill it in its still pretty fragile state. It even has its own mini immune system, placental immune cells that gobble up anything that poses a threat.
They hungry.
Other placental cells creep along the inside of the mum's blood vessels, stretching them and connecting the fetus through the umbilical cord on the other side.
That's another thing that just kind of creeps me out. Expanding the blood vessels from inside. I don't know. I know it doesn't seem like that specific thing doesn't seem to hurt, but like, I don't know. It's just thinking about it.
With the blood flow secured, it's time to load it with as much food as possible. The placenta releases hormones that funnel glucose directly to the fetus, stealing energy from its mum. If the fetus goes too far and asks too much, this can sometimes lead to gestational diabetes for the mum during the pregnancy, starving her body of energy. The mother's body is trying to support the new life, but not at the cost of her own survival. In a sense, the mother's genes inside the fetus still have a stronger allegiance to her than to the new being, but its father's genes don't. They want the fetus to survive at all costs. So while there's a sort of fragile peace between both parties, it is just that. Their interests are not perfectly aligned, and both sides have to deal with that.
Is that actually how it works? the the mother's genes specifically are like, yes, let's keep it alive, while the father's genes are like, or the opposite, we must fight for the mother. And the father's genes are like, no, we must keep it alive. I have a feeling that it's kind of not like that, how exactly how they're saying, but again, what do I know? I'm a dumb VTuber on the internet.
In the next few months, the fetus will increase its weight over 1 billion times, which demands a staggering amount of energy and cooperation. They still need to work together to get out of this alive. But if the fetus gets to this point in the pregnancy, chances are pretty high that it will become a baby like you once were, a proper human, like you are today.
That's what he thinks. You think I was a baby? Nah, I came out fully grown.
A being with immense potential. If you're alive today, then you went through an amazingly brutal selection process. From a little pack of genes traveling through an incredibly deadly obstacle course, fighting for your survival with desperate words spoken through chemicals and sneaky actions, trying to outsmart the system, fighting to be alive in this world. But this is only one side of the story. You were also chosen by hormones that led you to the right place, by the egg allowing you to merge into one, by your mum's body that liked how you spoke to her, by her cells that protected and cared for you, nourished by an incredible amount of energy that your mother gifted you. Our biology is a brutal, unforgiving, but necessary part of the greatest wonder there is, the creation of new life, of you, of all of us.
Yay, we're all
Kids fill us
stars.
with a sense of wonder. It's our job to foster this sense of wonder in them as well. Our sponsor KiwiCo
Oh,
is
it's
a great
KiwiCo.
start to
I've heard
spark
some good things about
curiosity
this.
in your kids from the earliest moments on, basically from birth. This is one of their crates for newborns, so let's explore it together. There's a tummy time pillow, some black and white cards, a sensory mat, and a mirror. It's the Let's Bond Panda Crate, a kit that helps your newborn explore its brand new sensations of vision, hearing, and motor control. At the same time, you get to know this tiny new human in your life and learn about how it currently experiences the world. This crate is part of the KiwiCo Panda Crate line of
My God, there's
research-backed
real
toys and
people
activities to
in a
support your
Kurzgesagt
baby's
video.
development. You can promote vision,
I was about to
hearing,
mention
and
how he
gross
keeps
motor
talking
skills
about
in the first
humans
months of
and
the baby's
everything's a
life,
bird.
or rhythm and language skills later. Whatever stage of life, KiwiCo has the curriculum to promote a kid's development at every step. All their toys are created and backed by experts and made from high-quality materials. A KiwiCo subscription could be the gift that keeps on giving for your own kid, a baby shower, or any niece, nephew, godchild, or other little one in your life, with a new box of wonders arriving every month. We like KiwiCo because they're fostering a mindset of making learning an ongoing exploration, just like we try to do with our videos. If you want to try out KiwiCo, click on the link in the description or use the code Kurzgesagt to get 50% off your first monthly KiwiCo crate. Here is your special connection to Kurzgesagt. If you're craving more between videos, our newsletter delivers the latest updates straight from the bird's nest to your inbox. You'll be the first to access limited releases and deals, learn about new product drops before the rest,
Okay.
and get
Yeah,
fascinating.
they're done their regular advertisement, so I'm just gonna keep talking now. No, that seems like a really good thing to do with kids because I don't know if you know, but kids these days are kind of, I wouldn't say stupid, but they're kind of disadvantaged in learning because there's just a bunch of stuff acting against them at this point to learn. So yeah, being able to get them something like that would be nice. Anyway, about the video, no, that's very interesting. I'm trying to think how I want to explain this because again, never been pregnant, probably never going to be pregnant. I don't think that we're going to have that technology anytime soon. I don't think I want to do it anyway. Seems like not a great time, but um yeah, like the whole video, I thought that, at some point they were going to be like, oh, and all these effects, cause the outward things that we see during pregnancy, but no, the entire video was just about the internal struggle between the baby and the mother. And I mean, I guess that's kind of a refreshing different view of everything compared to what we're used to. Yeah, that was very interesting, and I'm glad that everyone that we were able to see this. Yeah, if you enjoyed the video, go again, subscribe to Kurzgesagt, and if you enjoyed my video, please give me a like, give me a comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Come watch me on Twitch. I stream live 4 days a week right now. And yeah, let me know in the comments if you want me to be mpreg because Twitch really seems to like that, and let's see if YouTube does as well. I hate myself for having said that, but anyway. Yeah, hope you enjoyed your in-flight entertainment today, and I will see you guys in the next video.